When we think of Britain, the first things that come to mind are rolling green hills, endless open fields, rugged cliffs, and never-ending rain. But these islands are not only special because of their landscape, they are truly remarkable because of their history as well. England may seem small on the map, but its story is anything but small. In fact, it is the result of thousands of years of migration, wars, and new beginnings. And naturally, we find ourselves wondering, how did this island become a force that shaped world history? It all began around 11,000 years ago, at the end of the last ice age. Back then, Britain was connected to mainland Europe by a landmass called Doggerland. People could simply walk across to the continent, which is quite amazing to imagine. But over time, the ice melted, sea levels rose, and this land disappeared beneath the water. Britain became an island. Even so, this did not mean that its connection with the outside world was completely cut off. Farming spread from the Middle East to these lands, and people began to settle down. Around this time, the awe-inspiring Stonehenge was built. This structure is far more than just a collection of large stones. It is the result of incredible planning and effort. Just imagine, some of the stones were transported from hundreds of kilometers away. And they were not placed randomly. They were carefully shaped and fitted together, almost like a modern construction. Yet the people who built these monuments were just like us. They had to feed their families, find food, and survive. Despite all this, they still managed to create something so massive. This shows just how determined and organized they were. As time passed, the Stone Age gave way to the Bronze Age, and then to the Iron Age. During this period, new groups of people arrived from Europe, bringing new ideas and languages. Eventually, Celtic culture spread across much of Britain. These people were not as primitive as we might think. On the contrary, they were farming, trading, and forming well-organized societies. Later, the Romans entered the scene. In 55 BC, Julius Caesar came to Britain, but he was unable to establish a lasting presence. The real conquest took place in AD 43 under Emperor Claudius. The Romans built roads, established cities, and introduced a new order to these lands. However, the people of Britain did not always submit. The uprising led by Boudicca was one of the strongest acts of resistance against Rome. It was a brutal rebellion. Cities were burned, and even Rome briefly considered withdrawing. In the end, the revolt was suppressed, but it revealed how resilient the people of Britain truly were. Roman rule lasted for about 350 years. During this time, it left lasting impacts: roads, cities, and even Christianity. In fact, many of the foundations of modern England were laid during this period.